What's up, y'all? I'm Rachael, realtor and resident living in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Today's topic is the housing affordability crisis in Middle Tennessee, so let's get right into it. For those Tennessee residents with low to mid-range incomes, they are really feeling the pinch of this massive shortage of affordable housing, whether they are renting or looking to purchase a home. Prices have massively inflated, particularly in the last 10 years. The housing affordability crisis in Tennessee is particularly apparent in the Nashville metropolitan area, which makes up a significant portion of Middle Tennessee. In our area in particular of Tennessee, houses have gone up nearly 200% in price just in the last 10 years. And for many of you, you're looking at rural counties in Middle Tennessee. Let's take just one example, Giles County. That's a rural county in southern Middle Tennessee. Average home prices there jumped 165% just in the last 10 years. Another example, a little closer to home for me, Cannon County, they increased in home values 192% from 2012 to 2022. By the way, if you're looking to stay up to date with the housing market in Middle Tennessee, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, where we talk all things life in Tennessee and homes in the mid-state. Tennessee renters are not faring any better. That's partially because landlords in Tennessee are not restricted to the amount of rent that they can increase annually. Huge rent spikes have been particularly common in the last 2 to 3 years. For an example, Nashville rent averages about $1,800 a month. Knoxville is only moderately better. If you work in Knoxville or Nashville, for example, and you need to rent for under $1,000 a month, you're going to be looking to drive 45 minutes or an hour just to be able to afford housing. So why is this happening? What is going on that's contributing to the housing affordability crisis that's happening in Tennessee? First and foremost, let's address the rapid population growth that has been happening in the last 10 and 20 years in Tennessee. With an increased population, there is going to obviously be an increased need for housing. We simply don't have enough houses for the people that are in Tennessee that would purchase a home. Looking back at the statistics for the Middle Tennessee housing market back in 2007, 2008, when the housing crash happened, we did see an increase of foreclosures, but we also saw an increase in investors that came to the area and scooped up a lot of the houses because they knew that the housing market would eventually turn around. That kept housing prices from really going down too much in 07 and 08. And now we have a lot of rental houses in the Nashville area. So with all that increased demand for houses that has been happening, investors were betting on this rapid population growth and not having enough homes for people to buy. So they purchased all these rentals, and that is keeping a lot of people stuck in a rental because there's not enough homes that would be for sale for homeowners. And you should know that in general, Tennessee does pay low wages. That's made it difficult for a lot of residents here to afford housing. And we've all seen the trend of the last 3 years, the work from home trend, where people want to move to that rural area with high-speed internet. However, they also have their salary that's from typically a higher cost of living area. This has only driven up the cost of housing further for the low to mid-wage earners and keeping them in the tenant lifestyle. Tennessee also has a lack of affordable housing options. And let's talk about the affordable options that there are in Tennessee, especially for the low to mid-wage earner. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that could afford a mortgage payment, but you still can't afford home ownership because the barrier to entry is simply too high. It's really not uncommon for someone in this area to be paying as much rent as there is a mortgage payment. And it's those high rent costs that's going to make it difficult for that person to then save up for the money to purchase a home, because you need to factor in down payment, closing costs, cost of inspections, homeowner's insurance, moving expenses, and any unexpected expenses that will inevitably come up with homeownership. Zoning laws as well have historically made it difficult for building affordable housing. That's true in Tennessee as well. While I do think the other factors previously stated are likely bigger contributors to the housing affordability crisis in Tennessee, we can't deny that zoning laws of prior years are still impacting the amount of housing that we have currently. Both Tennessee residents and the Tennessee economy are significantly impacted by the housing affordability crisis. The low and middle income residents, they might find a decent paying job that's in a city, but they're pushed to move further and further out just due to the cost of housing in that area. That's not only increasing their commute time, but it's also increasing traffic and pollution on Tennessee roadways. And unfortunately, we're also seeing an increase in homelessness as well. Now, here in Murfreesboro, you really don't see a lot of homeless panhandlers on the street, but it's not uncommon at all to see people living out of their cars or living out of hotels. So what exactly can we do to address the housing affordability in Tennessee? This is where we can discuss, and I welcome all of your comments that can contribute to the discussion. Zoning laws can certainly make it easier to build new housing, but I don't know that that's just the simple answer, because at this point we have a severe supply issue. We simply don't have enough homes for people, and most certainly don't have enough affordable homes for people. Part of the supply issue is that the materials we use to build homes is becoming increasingly expensive, and we really should be looking for less expensive ways to build homes. But is that what the homeowners want? Homeowners want to protect their investment. That means most homeowners are going to vote for politicians that protect their investment. There's a lot of politics behind the different industries related to building and the supplies for building. Industries and politicians conspire all the time to keep their pocketbooks flush. Another possible solution would be to provide rental or down payment assistance to low and middle income Tennessee residents. Obviously, this is going to be a more controversial solution. Some are going to see that as a handout. However, I think there are so many barriers to home ownership that there should also be programs to break down the barrier. I see it all the time where parents help their children get into the home because their child makes enough money to be able to afford the mortgage payment, but the down payment and the closing costs are what prevents them from getting in the home in the first place. Truly, it is harder today as a first-time homeowner than it is at literally any other point in history. So what do y'all think? Is the housing affordability problem something that can be solved? I don't think that there's any one solution, and we need to be mindful of the law of unintended consequences, which is when you try to fix one problem, you're not unintentionally creating another. I'm personally a proponent of using new and creative, cheaper materials to build homes and get more affordable housing that way, but ultimately, I do think there will need to be some sort of government intervention at some point in the housing industry, because this isn't just a crisis that Tennesseans face, but Americans all over are feeling the pinch. There's really a lot of us that are suffering just because of the high cost of housing. I'm sure that this topic is going to generate a lot of discussion. So welcome all of your thoughts in the comments below, whether you are planning on moving to Tennessee or buying a home in Tennessee. I've got some videos picked out just for you coming up next. Thank you for stopping by the channel, and I will see you at the next video.